So I had plans to meet some old friends on a Saturday night in Pittsburgh. We were going to be seeing a concert. I decided why not head out on Friday night as well and see if anyone wanted to ride bikes. I posted in Discord, and Chris, who I've met through the channel a number of times, I've ridden out in Pittsburgh with him before, and he's ridden out here in Akron before. He was willing to make a route, so he also picked a brewery that was close to me and Aaron's Airbnb, Trace Brewing, so we rode over there and met up. Didn't know if anybody else was going to show up. We just put it out there and figured let's go, and we're going to ride and have fun no matter what. Chris's buddies Brian and Bo showed up, and then John showed up from the Discord as well. Hadn't met him in person before, but it was great that he showed up and we all hit it off and had a great ride together. It was also critical mass this night in Pittsburgh. We saw some other people on bikes as we were getting going, other people around the brewery, and then at the end of this ride, you'll see we actually ran into them when they were finishing their ride. It was an absolutely beautiful evening to ride bikes and beautiful evening to film a bike ride. We worked our way out of the Lawrenceville neighborhood, and we were riding a bunch of roads that I had never been on, and then we started to hit some absolutely amazing cuts. The last time we rode together in Pittsburgh, Chris planned a route that took us more along the Allegheny River side of the city, and this time we were heading more over to the Monongahela River side of the city. The route we did the last time I was out here was absolutely amazing, with some really cool bridge crossings and some awesome cuts. I have to say, I think this route was even better. Some of the views we got and some of the trails and cuts were just absolutely awesome. The industrial gravel stuff that I just really, really love.
Yeah, I've never been over here. Good deer, Aaron.
I was riding my Rally Tamland 2, my drop bar gravel bike. I have 44mm tires on there. I just got the wheels rebuilt, so it was fun to be back on that bike, and it was good for this route. It was very mixed terrain, so doing some of the road descents we did there was fun to have, but then when we got into some of these gravelly industrial gravel climbs, it was great for that as well. So glad to have that bike back, kind of my do-it-all drop bar bike. This abandoned road climb was so awesome. Just these amazing views off to the right of the city, and then just picking the line as we worked our way up.
Maximize the grab grab.
Chris had mentioned, just let me know if you want to stop anywhere and take some photos, which we definitely did, but we would have gotten nowhere if I stopped to take all the photos I wanted to, because with the perfect light and this part of Pittsburgh, there were just so many cool things to see. As we usually stay in some of the more happening neighborhoods, as the kids say, like Lawrenceville, and often work our way downtown and some of the other places. I'm used to seeing the booming side of Pittsburgh that has new construction and new bike lanes and new roads. Doing a ride like this was kind of cool to see a little bit of the other side of Pittsburgh that was a little more post-industrial and a little more, some of the abandoned and Rust Belt side of things, which is where I prefer to ride my bike anyways. So my 44 millimeter Renaers tires had just been set up tubeless again, and that's obviously because I had the wheels rebuilt. One thing is, it can be a little tricky to get some of the super supple sidewall tires to hold at first, so we had put like way too much pressure in the tires. Well, not way too much, but just too much to get them to seat and try and get them to hold. I really should have let some pressure out before this ride though, because it made it quite bumpy to be running higher PSI than I normally would. I'd normally do about 35 PSI in these 44s. We have our bridges and our abandoned train tracks and our abandoned train bridges in Akron as well, but the scale of everything in Pittsburgh is just so much bigger, and all these bridge crossings and cuts were just so cool, especially at sunset, just these beautiful river views, and yeah, just an absolutely awesome night on the bikes. The wide angle of the GoPro doesn't really show it, but that was Kennywood that you could clearly see when you were riding your bike in the distance with the roller coasters and everything. Here we cut off and did one of the most wild industrial gravel descents of the night. It was an absolute blast. This is actually the Gap Trail here, the Great Allegheny Passage Trail. Me and Aaron have ridden the full thing a couple times. It's a popular bike touring route, but we hit that for a little bit to get back into town. It was kind of cool because we went behind this old strip mall center, which was an area that the first time me and Aaron ever did the Gap, we went right into the strip mall and got lost, and we're in the middle of all the shoppers. Here we're going out onto an abandoned train bridge. I'll link the other ride we did on the end screen of this video if you want to see it, where we actually crossed over the Allegheny on an old catwalk. But again, I'm not someone who's not used to hanging out on an abandoned train bridge, but not one that is on this scale. It was so cool. I took a ton of photos as well. So it got a little too dark for the GoPro to really do anything justice, but we had these amazing views of the city after we did this road climb, I think about a 300-foot mile-long climb. And then we did this crazy fun descent through the woods. It was like basically mountain biking back down, and I would love to come back and do this one during the day so I could send it a little bit more. If I knew the trail a little better, it would just be even better. Here we actually stopped to help out a guy who had a slow leak, and it turned out to be Calvin, who I've met at Higher Ground in Johnstown, PA a couple times. Follow him on Instagram and know he's a Pittsburgh local. We ran into the end of critical mass over here, and the people I was with were talking with the people they knew. Tyler came over, a guy who knew the channel, and I got to meet him and chat for a while. Then we went over and met some other friends, Bart and Rachel, at Two Phrase Brewing. Everybody else had kind of split off or went home throughout the night, and me and Bart and Rachel decided to hang out for a little longer, so dropping Aaron off here, and then we headed on. Bart was riding his single-speed Trek 420 on his 120 PSI 23 mil tires.
I told Chris, I was like, I'm so pissed that like I can't.
I'm also, are you Chris?
It's the Trek. Single speed. It's amazing. I love it.
The next morning, Aaron decided we should use our feet to go get coffee, and then we headed over to a little food truck thing that had these breakfast sandwiches where there was a line for, but turned out to be worth it because these sandwiches were so good. Then we ended up hopping on our bikes, just me and Aaron, and we did a little ride. We went over to an island and cruised around and got a Bloody Mary. The Strava will be linked below. I don't remember the names of the places and stuff we were going. But it was another beautiful day and another great ride in Pittsburgh.
Between those two, you got it.
Oh yeah, we did make another bakery stop that our friends had told us about the night before, which turned out to be awesome as well. Sat in the park and ate our pastries. So after our ride, me and Aaron were heading our separate ways. She was heading back home, and I was going to meet my friends to see Bob Dylan. So we had a great weekend in Pittsburgh. I absolutely love riding here. The friends and the weather couldn't have been better, so thanks to everybody who showed up and helped out. Anyways, if you like this video, give it that like, click that little button, and if you want to support us more, consider becoming a channel member. Thanks. Peace.